Hey guys, happy Friday. I'm Daniel. Welcome to my studio. And today we're going to talk a little bit about lighting and we'll say imperfections. So again, this is something I get a lot in a lot of different ways, but specifically in this case, somebody was saying they knew somebody, they wanted to photograph them. The subject had a lot of acne when they were younger and they had scars from it. And they really like the dramatic lighting that I do, but they felt like that might accentuate that, which is likely true. So I'm going to come at this from two different directions. The first one is probably not the one that most people want, which is why are we trying to cover up things on people? I get you're going to say, no, they want it covered up. Okay, but why do they want it covered up? They want it covered up because somebody told them, or society in general is telling them that it's wrong. The reality is that everybody is interesting and beautiful for their own self, right? Certain things become popular because certain celebrities or certain models or certain whatever have this certain look, and then people like that. Sometimes things that were considered not attractive before, then suddenly attractive. You know, probably one of the most common things I get is, oh, they're overweight. Okay, but the thing is that if we want to show people in their best light, right? Literally. But at the same time, if we teach people that they shouldn't look the way that they look because that's not a good photo, then I just think we're barking up the wrong tree there. So number one, if I'm tasked to photograph somebody who has something, let's say a gap in their teeth or scars or something that might be considered imperfections, I'm oftentimes going to try to embrace those things. They are there. They are a part of the person. Sometimes they're the thing that really makes that person interesting. Or maybe there's something really super interesting about the person that, let's say they have really intense eyes, that I can focus on and thus making the rest of it go away a bit, in the sense that if I create my image the right way, then you might not notice that other thing because you're so intent at the thing that you're looking at, right? The eyes are so intense that they don't notice that the person, has a scar or whatever. And this is kind of, the philosophy or the direction that I feel like we should go as photographers. I am in the minority. I will tell you that right now, based on all the Photoshop that's out there and all the things that people say, I am in the minority. However, I feel like that I get people come back to me time and time again to be photographed because they feel like they can be them. To create a photo that looks like the person is a skill because, they look like them. They look like them to how we see them. Because the thing is, taking a flat snapshot of somebody doesn't look like the person because they're flat and boring. Bringing out their personality, their intensity to the shot, and then still making it look like it's not overly retouched and overly stylized is a skill that I think we should develop as photographers. Now, that being said, and this is going to be a short video, so I'm not going to get into it too much. Let's say that you have somebody who has scars, or let's say they have actual acne going on at the time, and they have something that you want to not show. Well, you're on the right track by saying dramatic lighting might make that show up more, because typically when people think dramatic lighting, they think hard lighting, right? Hard lighting is typically going to show changes. So a scar would be a bump in the skin, right? So it's going to show that because it's going to show a shadow, it's going to show texture. However, we can have dramatic lighting without it being hard by how we place it in our shot, where we place it, I should say, what parts of the subject we light up, and then also the direction of the light to the person. So for instance, if I'm going to, and I've done this in a bunch of videos, so I'm not going to reproduce it here, but you can go back and look for it. A lot of times when I use a strip box, I'll do this demo with a strip box, where I will take the strip box and I'll do a profile of the person, and you can do it straight onto. And what I do is I take the strip box and I put it straight on to their face, and I put it at the same angle as their face, so we get this nice even light over their face, right? Then what we do is, watch going crazy. Then what we do is we move the strip box forward to the camera and back to the camera to show how that changes the shadow side, right? But it's still a soft light. It's still a shadow that is created by a soft light, which means that the bright part of the light that's hitting the main part of their face is soft. Now, and also if we want our shadows, so let's say that I've got a scar right here and I don't want it to show up. If I put my light above and I have my head facing this way, the scar is going to throw a shadow down. But if I raise my chin up to match the angle of the light, there will be no shadow there because it will be straight back. So we need to think about, if we're trying to cover up scars or bumps in the skin and stuff, we want to keep the subject or the thing that has the texture at the same angle as our light. And we want to keep our light as close as possible, if we want drama especially, and big. Because big and close is going to be soft, which is going to show less texture, and close is going to have dramatic fall off, so we go into the shadow really quickly. So we can have dramatic light that doesn't show every little bit of detail. Is it going to be as, if you make it dramatic and has any shadow, you're always going to see something. It's not going to be as perfectly scar-free as if you use just a large light that covered the whole face and there was no shadow, but it will definitely help create something that's dramatic without showing too much of that detail. So keeping in mind where your shadows fall is key, right? And also the hardness and softness of the light is important. So a relatively large light, relative to the subject, right? So even a strip bank that's this wide, it's as wide as my face. If I keep it close, that's big, right? If I have this large light source and then I have it close, it's going to show less texture. And if I have it at the same angle, the light at the same angle as my face, the shadow will go straight back and I'll show less texture. So that's the key there, but I do recommend that if somebody comes to you and they say, oh, I don't really want to show this because I have a scar there, bring that story out. Ask them to do some shots where those scars are showing to show that that's something they lived through. That's part of them, right? It's a portrait. But if it's like a beauty shot and you don't want to show that, keep in mind angles of your light and you should be able to minimize it as much as possible. In any case, what do you guys do? Do you encounter this a lot? I'm sure you do. Let me know below in the comments. Also subscribe if you haven't already and ring the bell so you get the notifications. And I'll see you next time.